What is going on, guys? Ray here in Papa Ray's Boom Boom Room. I did take a little break this weekend. I had to pick up some demo from our remodeling. I made a fire pit, had family movie nights and stuff, and I was waiting for this brand new mic to come in, my Blue Yeti mic, Blackout Edition. Let me know what you guys think, how it sounds. I'm sure it's gonna sound a lot better than it did before, using my Nikon mic straight off the camera. As you guys see, I'm trying to decorate a little bit. So if you guys want to send me some gifts, I'll definitely put them up on the wall. But let's get started and continued with the series. Before we do that, if you have not already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And we're going to continue the series with the AFC North. Consists of the Cincinnati Bengals, Cleveland Browns, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, I got this from my boy Eddie back home. Got my blanket, got my Lamar Jackson jersey on. I'm ready to talk about one of the toughest divisions in the league. Very gritty. Let's start off with the Cincinnati Bengals. Last year they did finish 2-14, worst record in the league. Their biggest needs: quarterback, wide receiver, defensive end, linebacker, and offensive tackle. And of course, as everybody knows, the #1 overall pick, Joe Burrow, quarterback out of LSU, headed to Cincinnati. Andy Dalton is now the backup with the Dallas Cowboys. In the second round, they did get T. Higgins, wide receiver out of Clemson. Great wide receiver to go along with A.J. Green. Yeah, man, who else? They got Tyler Boyd. They have a bunch of young receivers in Cincinnati, and hopefully they work out pretty well for Joe Burrow. Next up, we got Logan Wilson, linebacker out of Wyoming. Akeem Davis-Gaither, linebacker out of Appalachian State. He was one of those linebackers in my video from the previous series. Next up, we got Khalid Kareem, defensive end out of Notre Dame. Hakeem Adeniji, offensive tackle out of Kansas, who will probably start sometime this season, I believe, or very soon. Marcus Bailey, linebacker out of Purdue. My biggest thing for the Cincinnati Bengals, I do believe Joe Burrow is a great quarterback. He's just going to have to adjust to the speed of the league and also not having as much talent as he did in LSU. LSU, arguably one of the greatest college teams of all time. Literally every single position on that college team got drafted or was signed undrafted to the NFL this year. That's an insane feat. And I mean, they were amazing. He's not going to have the amount of weapons that he did, the O-line that he did. So it's just going to be a lot of adjustments for Joe Burrow. But I do think he will be a great quarterback. It kind of sucks being the #1 pick because usually you always go to the worst team. And for the most part, that kind of ruins your career unless you're put in a good situation with a great coaching staff and ownership. We'll see how the Bengals turn out. I think they will improve definitely from a 2-14 record that they had last year. Next up, I got the Cleveland Browns. Last year, 6-10. Their needs: offensive tackle, wide receiver, corner, linebacker, and offensive guard. Their offensive line was terrible. Baker Mayfield was always either running for his life or getting hit. With the first pick, 10th pick in the first round, Jedrick Wells, offensive tackle out of Alabama. The guy is a hog. He's a crazy strong offensive tackle that can pass protect, run block. He's going to be very, very well needed in that offensive line. Next, they got Grant Delpit, safety out of LSU. Jordan Elliott, defensive tackle out of Missouri. Also someone else that I had in my videos in the previous series. Jacob Phillips, linebacker out of LSU. Harrison Bryant, another guy I had in my series. Tight end out of Florida Atlantic. That guy is a great wide receiving tight end. Not the biggest tight end weight-wise, but the guy can catch and make plays. I look forward to them using him a lot in that offense. Next up, they had Nick Harris, center out of Washington, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, wide receiver out of Michigan. I was super surprised that he fell to the 7th round. That guy has a lot of potential, a lot of upside, and I look for him to complement well with OBJ, Jarvis Landry, and all them boys on the Cleveland offense. Um, my biggest questions for Cleveland is the fact that they have one of the most talented rosters and they just cannot get it together. Um, they probably have the best running back core and two-headed monster in the league with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I do think OBJ will have a bounce back year, although there are a lot of trade rumors, him not getting along or liking the style of play of Baker Mayfield. And I think this year in specific is definitely a year that Baker needs to prove himself as a franchise quarterback. He does a lot of talking, a lot of bickering with sports analysts and sports content creators like Skip and them, and I think he just needs to focus on football. The Cleveland Brown organization in general needs to focus on getting things done and competing in this AFC North, and I think they have the pieces to do so. Um, they just gotta get it together, and hopefully the Browns. I'm not gonna say they're gonna make the playoffs, but hopefully they're at least more competitive than a 6-10 record. Next up, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, 8-8, and that is with an injured Ben Roethlisberger. In the second round, they picked up Chase Claypool, wide receiver out of Notre Dame. The guy's like 6'4", super fast. The next person with that same height and that 40 time was Calvin Johnson, so that's a great comparison. I don't know if he'll live up to that height, but Chase Claypool is a great wide receiver from Notre Dame. Third round, Alex Highsmith, linebacker out of Charlotte. Anthony McFarland, running back out of Maryland. That's a speedy back to complement James Conner, complete opposite of what James Conner is. Speedy, exactly what they need. Kevin Dotson, offensive guard out of Louisiana. Antoine Brooks, safety out of Maryland. And Carlos Davis, defensive tackle out of Nebraska. My thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers, although obviously I'm a Ravens fan, I cannot deny the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers have been giving me headaches since I was a young boy. Big questions for them is, does Big Ben still have it after the injury from last year? The age definitely up there in numbers. I feel like Big Ben, he's never been a mobility guy. He's always been big arm. With that guard position that they filled, hopefully they can keep Big Ben healthy. I would love to see the Pittsburgh Steelers more competitive again this year. Like I said, last year it plagued them with injuries. Not having Big Ben, having Mason Rudolph, stunted their season a lot. And still they've somehow found a way not to have a losing season, finishing 8-8. That is all to Mike Tomlin and that coaching staff. The Steelers never gave up, even though I thought, man, I was like, they'll probably be one of the top picks in the draft, and they actually finished 8-8. Not too bad, considering all the injuries, the main injuries that they had to that team. Their defense has always been stacked. Cameron Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, Bud Dupree, T.J. Watt, Devin Bush, and they got Minkah Fitzpatrick from the Miami Dolphins last year. Very scary defense. Like I said, I'm just looking forward to having them compete again. It wasn't the same watching the Steelers and Ravens, knowing that the Steelers weren't 100%. I don't like watching football like that. I want to see Big Ben. Juju, they got James Conner, James Washington, sneaky wide receiver. He's going to be a sleeper. And they picked up Eric Ebron, a tight end, very nice. I look for the Pittsburgh Steelers to improve greatly and definitely make the playoffs next year, behind the Ravens, of course. And while we're there, we might as well jump straight into the best team in the league, best record in the league last year, 14-2, the Baltimore Ravens. Our needs definitely linebacker, and I think wide receiver and a guard to replace Marshall Yanda. Ever since we lost C.J. Mosley to the Jets, we lost our other linebacker to the Green Bay Packers, and then we had, of course, just a lot of losses on defense. Last year, our defense was amazing, and we had kind of a bunch of nobodies, really. We had Patrick O. He's also gone. I think we had what is it, LJ or TJ Fort. There's a lot of good linebackers, but not a leader on that defensive end. And then we still, our defense was still very nice. In the first round, we picked up Patrick Queen, linebacker out of LSU. Very nice linebacker. J.K. Dobbins, running back out of Ohio State. I think that pick is going to be amazing for us, along with Mark Ingram. If you guys watched that playoff game against Tennessee, when Mark Ingram was hurt almost the entire game, we could not get our offense running. We are a running offense, and with Mark Ingram not in the game, we just couldn't move the ball. Like I said, we're a running offense. If you can't run the ball, we were ahead almost in all of our games. We'd never played from behind, so that was just a situation the Baltimore Ravens weren't used to playing in, with J.K. Dobbins in there just in case Mark Ingram does get hurt, or just have a two-headed monster. It's going to be amazing for them. The guy is elusive, fast, strong, everything. I look for J.K. Dobbins to have a good rookie year, hopefully. Justin Matabuke, defensive tackle out of Texas A&M, another defensive tackle that I had on my list in the previous series. Devon Duvernay, wide receiver out of Texas. He's a slot guy. I look for him to play in between the numbers along with Hollywood Brown. Malik Harrison, linebacker out of Ohio State. Another good pickup. Like I said, we are weak on the linebacking position over the past few years, shipping out some of our main corner pieces at the linebacker spot. Tyree Phillips, offensive tackle out of Mississippi State. Ben Bredson, offensive guard out of Michigan. He's going to be replacing Marshall Yanda that retired this year. Broderick Washington, defensive tackle out of Texas Tech. James Prochet, wide receiver out of SMU. And Geno Stone, safety out of Iowa. Like I said, we filled in our linebacking gaps that we needed. I think Patrick Queen is going to be amazing. We did pick up Coleus Campbell from the Jacksonville Jaguars for like a fifth-round pick. It was a complete steal. I don't know what Jacksonville is doing. Coleus Campbell won the defensive MVP in the All-Star game this year, along with Lamar. Still got Brandon Williams, Matt Judon. We tagged him. We got Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Earl Thomas back there. A lot of young safeties. Clark, Elliott. We got a really good secondary, and now we have a monster D line and an improving linebacking core. I look for us to have a great year. I don't know if we'll get 14-2 again, but I think we'll definitely win at least 12 to 13 games. Yeah, biggest thing is Hollywood and Company. Hollywood Brown, he even said it last few days ago. He said I had to drop myself in fantasy because he wasn't producing. He's not a down to down kind of wide receiver. He's a big play guy. I do see him working out a lot this off season. He is definitely getting bigger. I had no idea the kid weighed like 140, 150 in that last NFL season. He's definitely bulking up, and he's trying to be the number one guy. We have a lot of young wide receivers. Mark Andrews, still young, was one of the best tight ends in the league last year. Just a lot of improvement on the receiving core to go along with Lamar and Mark Ingram, now J.K. Dobbins. I look for a lot of improvement in this offense, and I know Lamar is going to be working on just expanding his game. He's not just a running quarterback. I know he's working on his passing in the pocket, outside the pocket, and just everything, That kid is from South Florida, and he has the heart of a lion. It's insane. I just look for them to improve and continue to improve and lead this division. With Pittsburgh very close behind, I think Pittsburgh should have drafted Jalen Hurts to replace Big Ben whenever Big Ben retires, but they didn't, so they should be looking for a quarterback of the future hopefully soon. I do have, last but not least, the rankings, how I think the season will play out for this division. USA Today had the Ravens finishing 13-3, the Browns finishing 7-9, the Steelers finishing 11-5, and the Bengals finishing 5-11. I do have the Ravens taking the division again. Like I said, same with USA Today, 13-3. There might we possibly could go 14-2, but 13-3 or possibly 12-4. I have the Steelers going 10-6. Vast improvement, especially with Big Ben back. Hopefully he stays healthy. All these are assuming everybody stays healthy and playing to their supposed potential. Next up, I got the Browns at 9-7. USA Today had them at 7-9. I feel like the Browns can compete if they get things together. They just need the right coaching staff because they have the talent offensively and defensively. I think they will hopefully be above 500, if not at 8-8. Last but not least, the Bengals. USA Today had them 5-11. I also think they'll be 5-11. They just have to, develop Joe Burrow and grow as an organization. Finally, new coaching after having Marvin Lewis for the longest. So hopefully Joe Burrow is their man and they continue to improve. Hopefully AJ Green can stay healthy and decides to stay so he can play along Joe Burrow so Joe Burrow doesn't have to start off with fresh young receivers in the league. That is my predictions for the AFC North. I appreciate you guys for watching. Like I said, if you haven't already, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and follow on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Let me know what you guys think of the designs that my wife put up. I got some high school stuff. She said I was a loser because I put up some of my high school stuff. It is what it is, you know what I mean? But yeah, if you guys have any ideas decoration-wise, you guys can hit me up and let me know. But I appreciate you guys for watching. I hope you have a blessed day and stay healthy, stay blessed.